Day 155. Taking a couple days off of this, but mostly because I've been working on pad stats, and I'm going to show you some pitches and different meetings we've had for day 153 and 154. All done on that actual day, so I'm not skipping anything. I'm just, I think, replacing my little testimonials for actual work we're doing, which I think is a good idea. We continue to work on pitching. I got the website landing page all done. I'm now working on building a SQL database in the background so that everything will run more smoothly. And I've had some issues with that, but we'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about that. But continue to read a ton. I'm thinking about showing you all the books I've been reading as a way to get you interested in reading. And I think my take on reading is I've always hated reading my whole life. And I always thought it was because I'm somewhat a little dyslexic and I'm really bad at reading comprehension and really bad at reading quickly. I read very slowly. I barely understand what I'm reading. And I think part of it is like building up the muscle for me. That's been helpful. But the biggest change is I finally see the point of reading. I understand. I understand the point of reading now, which is, for me, is to find great people and learn how they understand the world so that you can use their knowledge, stand on their shoulders. And I think in day 152, I was talking about how I need to have a long-term lifetime goal, a someday goal. I think I'm still working through that. But I think right now, the idea of being one of the select few that is actually inventing the future, so far that's good enough for me. And I think that's, we'll see where it goes from there. But so far that's been interesting. And I don't know if I need a higher purpose than that. I don't know if there needs to be a religious aspect to it or something, but I think just being part of that small group of people that is actually inventing the future is a pretty cool goal. Because I don't think we think about that in that way very often, But I continue to work out. I continue to eat like crap. I got a couple green days in there, I guess, but I modified my communication goal to be reading for 1 hour a day. I think that's gonna really help me. And then also, I'm gonna start doing this new thing called success time. I'm stealing this from this book. It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And they say effectively 30 minutes once a week, sit down and think about all the things that you could be working on, and then pick out one of them that is going to, this is the best question, one thing that's going to make everything else on the list easier or unnecessary. So what is the one thing I can do such that everything else on this list is easier or unnecessary? And I think I'm still working through how to utilize this knowledge in this process. I think I don't think I'm doing it right yet. I think I'm still doing it wrong, but I think I'll get better at it. That's the thing that I've grown to learn, is that I'm not good at things, but it's okay because I'm going to get better at them soon. But I need to, so I set something on my calendar every Friday at a certain time. I'm going to spend 30 minutes thinking about what I need to do to keep advancing myself in pad stats. Write down everything every time, and then pick out one thing And then the trick is to try to put 4 hours on that one thing every day. So, I mean, if I'm being honest, that's why I've been reading so much. Is I feel like the one thing that I need to do in order to make everything easier or necessary is learn more than anything. I feel like most times when I have to go back and redo something or take a long time to learn something the first time, it's usually because I started off with a bad, and this is an Elon Musk thing, I started off with a bad tree of knowledge, a bad base of that tree. So I was asking the wrong questions along the way because my base understanding of that problem or equation or system or whatever wasn't fully like whole. And so I think that's what I'm gonna work on. And the other thing that's kind of coming to that I've read this in, it's come up in 4 different books now, which is interesting, right? That every single book is not about this thing. I've yet to find a book about this, so this might be my book. We'll find out. But this has come up in Atomic Habits. This has come up in The One Thing. Which, by the way, those are the top two books I'd recommend right now. This is my current book I'm reading. Start with Why, because I'm worried. I'm trying to work through my why with everything. And it's come up in the Naval book. I read this one last week or 2 weeks ago. It's come up in that book. It's even come up in this book. And it's even come up in this book. And it's actually come up in this book too. I have all these books I'm reading. Or I have read. So, and if anything, I'm just proud of myself because I've read more books in the last 4 months than I probably have in my entire life cumulatively before that. Because I just hated reading. I hated books. I don't get a lot out of it. And, my new process is to watch a 1 hour interview with the author and decide if I want to learn more about them and follow them. And if I want to learn more about them and follow them and their line of thinking, and they have to be a high quality person, someone that's a billionaire or someone that is innovating or is making impact in the world. I'd rather than assume that they're lucky, I'm going to assume that they're good. And in doing so, I buy their book and I see how far it takes me, and sometimes it doesn't take me very far. I try to skip through it if I need to. But the one thing that has come up in all these different books, in the 5 books I've read so far, they all have a chapter on this, or they have a chapter or an anecdote or a message that I'm finding super helpful in inventing the future. And it's break the problem into the smallest, simplest steps or smallest pieces as possible. So this has happened probably 40 times so far in Pad Stats. It's like I get to a point in the project where I don't know what to do next. Because it's like I'm not sitting there going, well, what should I build next? It's more like I'm building the thing that's important. And I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to fix the problem. There's a problem in the code. There's a problem with the project. There's a problem with the design. There's a problem with the process. There's a problem with something. It doesn't work right. It doesn't work how I expected it to work. It's not as simple as I thought it would be. It's the code's not working. There's bugs in it. Like any problem I'm encountering when I'm trying to invent the future, I'm trying to build something that's going to be better than current practice, I get stuck and then I get frustrated. And the only way out of that problem with a solution, with a way to fix the problem that I've found so far, and I'm not making this up because it's in all these books, but it's not really, I think, explained very, very well. I don't think it's it's not explained as a tool to put in your tool belt when you get stuck. And I think that needs to be explained to people. I think that's a really important tool that people don't really think about, is you ask yourself the question of like, how can I break this problem down into the smallest, simplest possible example or hypothesis or prototype, and I've had several times where the entire website is working except for one feature, and I don't know what to do because I don't know why it's not working. I don't know what's causing what interaction. I don't fully understand the code. I don't fully understand everything. And my only way that I've been able to solve that problem, and the funny thing is, I used to spend days trying to figure out the bug by testing things, by trying different ways, by asking GPT, blah, blah, going back and forth, by loading my whole code base into GPT. And because a lot of times these problems are multifactorial, there's a lot of interactions between things that are causing that bug or that problem. And I found that the simplest way, and I've gotten my like stuck time, the time where I'm stuck and sitting there and confused and frustrated and feeling stupid, down from like 2 or 3 days on average to about an hour, 2 hours, which is really good. I'm going to continue to work it down to hopefully 20 minutes. Is my goal. 20 minutes. If I'm frustrated with something for 20 minutes, I need to stop, hit the pause button, and break it down into the smallest, simplest pieces possible. And in doing so, I've solved every problem I've had so far doing it that way. And it's so like if I have yesterday, I was working on a bug with the website that I didn't understand, is when you clicked on the sidebar, it would double load the sidebar. It would like, if you close the sidebar, it would close it and then reopen it again. And that's probably a super simple bug that anybody can figure out that's smarter than me. But it was giving me trouble because the code that I thought was causing that interaction, I removed and it still did it. And so I couldn't understand where it was happening. And I started logging it and debugging it and everything and trying to figure out all the different reasons of why this is happening. And it comes back to just some JavaScript that was kind of preloaded into the landing page template that I bought and whatever. But how I fixed it was I broke it down into the smallest possible pieces and got to the root cause. And this is something that Lean and Six Sigma gets into also. But it's like, get so close to the problem that the answer becomes simple. It becomes so obvious that it's easy to talk about or understand. And I think there's something there. I think that's been something in these books that I think isn't addressed enough and explained enough. And maybe that's my book. I don't know. Maybe that's a pipe dream. I'll probably never do that, but maybe one day. I think it'd be fun to write a book and hopefully have it help people. But it's interesting that that's never really come up in any of my books that I've read so far, you know. So I gotta go, but I thought I would share that. It's Friday. Gonna have a fun weekend. Gonna keep working. I gotta figure out this SQL thing today. It's so frustrating. But even that one, I'm breaking it down in the smallest pieces possible, and I'm gonna do the smallest, simplest test, one little step at a time, and then I'll figure it out. And that's how I figure out problems to invent the future. So, but I'll keep working. I'm still working out. Almost up to 100 days in a row, and we'll keep going. So, thanks, and keep plugging away, keep working. I'll see ya.